gotta be. I ain't living in your fantasy, and I'll be real if it's the death of me. I'ma be who I gotta be, and I don't care who you pretend to be, cause I'll be real if it's the death of me.
All right, so you mentioned one, like what other traits do you look for? Let's say your manager as well as like your work culture, leadership, like what are traits that you look for in a dream job? Um, and let's go aside from like the responsibilities part, but just
Yeah.
more so like culture and leadership.
Yeah. It's like, so if I'm looking for a new job, uh, I treat I ask a lot of questions during the interview process. And because like after all my jobs now, one thing I would say, like anyone who's looking for a job or anyone who's working right now, is keep a mental note or actually like a written down list of things that you like and things that you don't like at your current position or at previous positions. That way you always know what to look for. Like you always know what you're chasing in the next position. So like I always have questions. So think about things that went wrong or things that like really bothered you at a previous position. Ask that question in your next interview. How do you handle this situation? And or like if or like how do you communicate this? What's your communication style? What's your managerial style? So like or like how does problem solving get done between teammates? A lot of stuff like this. Like because I find that those questions are more beneficial during the interview process because they help you learn about your day to day. They help you learn about things that you might be concerned with in the past.
Sure.
So like that's what I really look for in a company. It's like how does the team collaborate? What does communication look like? What I ask my manager if I'm on the manager call, like what's your managerial style? And then they usually will ask me like how do you like to be managed? And then so like both like having both those questions answered because everyone has a certain way they like to be managed. How do you like to be coached is another way to say it, right?
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and so you have to find a style that matches yours.
Yeah. I always ask that, how does like the team collaborate together? I'm trying to see like how the boss interacts with the team as well as like, hey, do like team members actually talk to each other to help each other? Or
Yep.
do you cross collaborate with other departments and stuff like that to see like if it's cohesive or if it's super siloed? Typically, if it's super siloed,
That's a
then
bad job.
yeah.
I think that's a leading factor to burnout too, is when
Yeah.
you feel like you're
You're by
stranded.
yourself, you're stranded, you can't learn anything, depend
Yep.
on anybody else. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, collaboration is huge for me, at least. Those are some of the biggest factors when I look at a company. And um just like being able to talk to team members and ask them questions, get their vibe. Like you can glean a lot from just a conversation, and you could really see how they feel about their job. Are they hesitant to answer things about their job and their company? They probably have second thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Or if and sometimes if they're too overeager, that it can go both ways, right? Like I see over eagerness or like too much love for a company as a bad sign. I've worked at companies where there's way too much hype for the company and everyone thought it was the best thing, it was God's gift on earth. And I was cynical about it. I was like, I don't enjoy it as much as you. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid.
Man, he hit. I was smiling, Leo, because he's hitting on like he's preaching right now, man. He's on fire.
Because in my opinion, sometimes I think it's a good strategy to hire people. You hire impressionable young professionals
Yeah.
and you sell them on hype essentially.
Mhm.
And it motivates them. You keep them motivated because as long as you have motivated workers, you're going to get work done.
That rah mentality. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
It
man,
works. It can work though.
and that's so huge though, because when it comes to like a real, I don't know if y'all have it right now. We don't even have to be talking. We don't even have to limit it to like a professional setting. But when you got a true leader, man, I feel like you can really do anything.
Yeah.
You
Good
know,
leaders are underrated.
because like I've thought back at some of my accomplishments and things that I've overcame, and it's like before completing that, I would probably told you ain't no way in the world, right? But you got somebody that break it down for you in a consumable, steps. Somebody to give you the motivation, somebody to give you the platform and the safe space to be able to practice and learn something before you master it. Stuff like that. That is so vital, and like that's what I look for, man. Like, so to your point, talking about collaboration, when you was talking about, I was like, oh man, he on fire, because like you have it's a reality. It's a reality. Sometimes you have, there's, to me, I'll just call it, there's two sides to the coin, maybe more depending on your circumstances or where you came from, but two sides to the coin, right? You have the transparent leaders, seniors, whatever you want to call them, that are willing to, roll with the punches, willing to help you iron out issues, details, miscommunications, whatever. But on the other side of that, there's that one guy or gal, that's, you don't know that. Like that's you should have learned this at X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, the condescending nature.
Condescending,
That's
the belittling,
the belittling.
It's the reality, right? Because like we can talk. I heard this concept recently in tech. I don't know why I hadn't heard it yet. They called it a certification farm. Y'all heard of that?
No.
They said my job is. They said at this company we are not a certification farm. Which a certification farm is companies that promote you or require you to go out and get a bunch of certifications. I think y'all may have came across plenty of IT professionals who've got, let's call it 10x certifications. And you ask them something simple, or you're working alongside them on a project, and it's like, that the certifications don't speak to experience.
Absolutely.
So like I've done that once or twice, and since then I wasn't the type of person to say, my man, you got 17 certifications. What do you mean? What are we talking about API for? But like, that's not my job. That's not my role. And then on top of that, me sitting here criticizing you and picking and critiquing you is not going to help us get this project done. So yeah, it's two sides to the coin, man. But
the same thing can be said about a college degree, though.
Ooh,
just because you went to college doesn't mean you know anything.
I definitely have that expectation from people who say they got a degree, though.
Hey, I know you do.
I definitely.
I know. Everyone does. Everyone does, right? Like, there are companies who, like, if they have a leader who doesn't have a college degree, will replace them if they're to look better, because it just gives them more credibility. Because in certain industries, if you don't have a college degree, you don't have any credibility.
So Golightly, what you need to do first of all is you need to not value like the college degree that much. Like, number one, you didn't get it and you're still in the same spot as a lot of people with a college degree.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So why would you value it that much?
Look
at entrepreneurs who don't have degrees. Because I have a degree, am I better than entrepreneurs who dropped out of high school? Like, no, I'd be foolish to think something like that.
I think about it from my own lens. Like, you got a few paths you can take right after high school, assuming you graduate. You got military, you've got continued education, college, whatever, trades, so many things, right? So to me, I just think about it from my own lens, to where I'm like, okay, I know if I go spend 4, 8, 12 years continuing my education, I'm gonna know something about something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna know something about something. So like when people say, yeah, man, I got a bachelor's, I'm like, you introduced me to Kenny. Kenny said, yeah, man, I graduated from, let me sit up straight, brother. You know what I mean? No, just like,
I know, I feel the same, but I've met people.
It speaks a lot to, like, the type of person that they are.
Yeah.
I think it kind of carries over into the professional setting for me. And I do that to myself when somebody, yeah, man,
that's fair.
I graduated from X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay. So that's
okay.
I mean, there's something to say about people, like, if you graduated from a program, like, it takes a lot of discipline, effort, whatever you want to call it. You guys, went through the military. It also takes a lot of work as well. Like, there's definitely people who are, for lack of a better word, idiots on both sides, right? Like, in both things.
They was what coach used to call them. They was a sit, ride, and watch type of player. No PT.
A sit, ride, and watch.
Sit, ride, and watch.
What's a ride?
You never heard that? So simply, the concept is, like, people that are technically on the team never had any PT, right? But they had all the games. They get all of the clout and whatever comes with being.
They get the ring if you get
the ring. They get all of that. But at the same time, what do? They sit, ride, and watch. They huddle. Gotcha. They huddle highlight with them sitting on the sideline.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I mean,
they made the team.
Speaking of that lens, they got the same piece of paper.
True. But yeah,
they a state championship.
Hey, they could put that on their resume. I ain't never seen nobody put. You know what? I have seen somebody put Yeah,
I've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah. Hey, people are proud of what they're proud of.
Exactly. That's a good thing to point out, though. Like, I do definitely regard people who I used to like look at people. Oh, you have a college degree. Where'd you go to college? Like, oh, like, because there's different levels of prestige in
Sure.
universities.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I think I from interviewing people as well, like, you learn so much more from just like having a conversation with them. Because like, I don't care where you went to school. Like, who are you as a person? Like, who are you? Like, I don't because where you went to school doesn't necessarily matter about like, are you going to be a good coworker to me or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I think about it more, I'm not gonna lie, go lightly. I'm kind of on the same path as you. Like
I
I know
definitely
people
expect more.
who
But
got PhDs. I'm like, all right, they obviously, like you said, go lightly, like
you
you
gotta
know
be smart
something.
or something.
Yeah, you know something, and I don't
Ain't
know.
no way you sat around and didn't acquire anything.
Yeah, or you know how to do something, because like I don't think I'm capable of writing those papers or reading the books and stuff like that in that much time, doing the research. Like I don't feel that I'm capable of it, at least not in this mind frame. So yeah, like I do definitely hope people with degrees, accolades, certifications to a higher degree regard, but we shouldn't know. We should. All right, I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a very respectful way.
I mean,
I respect your credentials. For example, a doctor, like, hey, you did that, but I cannot look at it as if I am lesser. I have to look at it as if I'm different. That certification doesn't put you above me in society or work or whatever it is.
So it's like we can respect it, but you don't necessarily highlight, you don't use that to define their skills or like, what they have to bring to the table until you see it applied.
More so their identity as a person. So I do respect it for their skills, but not their identity as a person. I feel like oftentimes we're like looking at it as they are higher than me in society. Their identity is higher than me in society
because they are that.
I see what you're saying.
That's a whole nother topic that like I really dislike about the tech industry, but I think it happens in all industries, is like making your career your identity. You're like I think, I don't know, maybe that's just me, because like my job isn't who I am. Like I am more than my job.
Yeah.
I tried my best to be as good at my job.
Yeah.
But like there's more to me than my job.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that, Kenny, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I'm not a person that's defined by my job, but as everyone knows, I'm very proud to be where I'm at so far.
Absolutely.
It's kind of hard. It's hard for me. Like, I'm just like, man, I cannot believe I'm where I'm at now. I've gotten into consulting. How?
Yeah, and it's
my background. You like they say, no, not where you came from. No, you're what do you say? You're too old. No, you're too young. You need to do X, Y, and Z to be a consultant. So like, I think it definitely. I almost look at it from the same light, so I think I definitely need to keep watching that. That was a gem right there, definitely, because
it's like
your identity. But I'm so much more than just I agree.
And it's good to be proud. Like it's I think that's something that is a practice that more people need to do, is be more appreciative and thankful for where they've been, like what they have, and just look at your journey, right? But know that you have so far to go, and like we're so much more than one piece of our life. Like there's so much, you have so much more ahead of you, so much more to you than just what you're doing at work. But
amen,
you should be proud of where you've come.
100%. That's huge, but not being defined by being proud of it.
Yeah.
Gotta remember. I'm gonna take my title out of my no, just playing.
Lil Scott is on his Instagram.
Yeah. I got my job persona Instagram, and then I got my that's another good point though, especially in this space as far as like professional settings go. Let's talk about professional platforms, because
this is good.
I feel like somebody about to take some shots at me now.
Oh, you feeling some heat, huh? No, but like, for example,
first y'all was on my shirt, and now okay, go ahead. Okay,
this shirt is better, so we can put up with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, but like, so as far as network, that's a great point. What that makes me think about now is like, okay, you have your personal life, you have your personal social media, but at the same time, in terms of networking and branding yourself in a professional lens, you got your own identity, you got your niche and things like that. So I think it's easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah,
So
you're
for
right.
me right now, who've been in
Yeah.
the tech space and working with a particular software, everything in my professional realm evolves around that. So like I can easily get caught up in, oh, you
Yep.
know,
Yep. This is
it's
my
just
identity.
so you're so used to networking and being in the groove, and it's like you fall back and you don't know how to not bring it up.
Oh,
Because
that's
it's
good.
all you talk about. It's
That's
all you.
good.
Yeah.
It's your professional identity, but it's a
Yeah.
complete difference. So that's a great point, and that's something I'm gonna have to digest a little bit more myself, man.
So
Yeah.
one thing because like, okay, tell me like, let's do like this is a scenario, right? Like you were
Mhm.
meeting for the first time. What's like a question that most people ask? It's what do you do?
Yeah. What do you do?
Mhm.
But so I've tried to erase that from my vocabulary, and
Breaks the base.
I try to say, what are you passionate about?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
if you're truly trying to get to know a person, like what do you do is such a surface level. To me, it's like a lazy question, and people are not as, I don't know. Like if I get asked that question, I'm like, all right, well, I'm a I'm a developer, I'm a
Fluff
software
answer.
engineer.
Yeah. Fluff
Yeah, I'm
answer.
like, what do you want?
Yep.
Like it doesn't lead to more discussion usually.
Yeah.
It's all like basic questions. Oh, where do you work for? Blah blah blah. But if like and but if you ask them a question like that, some people are receptive of it. They'll be more engaged. But I think
Yeah,
it's a better question.
it is 100%.
And then once you start
That's my
getting the
question too.
people, yeah, once you start getting the people to open up, then you can find out, oh, like what do you do for work?
That's a standard question, man. That's the basic package.
Yeah,
But it's an easy one to get out there. Oh, what do you do for a living? But
you
honestly,
got to pay extra for this one.
depending on what they say, they're gonna put you in a bucket anyway. You know,
Yep. Yeah.
you a developer, huh? Or you a doctor, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And
I
then
thought you was
that's
working
all.
on
Yeah.
brick.
Immediately putting you on the pedestal. Which level are you?
Come
Yeah.
on.
And I think people like, especially if someone hears they're a doctor, I think people can start like casting them with prejudices that they have or like stereotypes what they have of doctors.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's a really good point. I love the dynamic of us three because like I'm a person. The reason I say taking shots because I have like I'm pretty sure I have like my title, not my like work title, but like my title in my Instagram. So
I do too.
but social media like it bleeds because like yeah, your professional self is in your personal self, like you're
Mhm.
so Leo, you're so Los, like
Yeah.
I'm so me.
yeah, I guess it's kind of a merge. But no, it shouldn't be.
It
So I
shouldn't.
actually had a call with an artist yesterday who I'm trying to help out. And one thing I told him, ironically, was that he needs to separate himself. And I'm like, it's probably hard for you at this point because you've been doing this for 5 years and your name, your actual name pretty much is also your artist name because you're not doing this like full time. So
Yeah.
you're like bouncing in between what your identity is. You got to go to work every day as this artist, but you're also doing this 9 to 5 corporate job. And now
Mm.
you're like trying to figure out what is my identity. Like we just talked about, your job isn't your identity. Either way it goes, you're still Dave or George or whatever it is. You're still that person. And then what you do, whether it's on the side or full time, is that persona or character.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm helping somebody with brand themselves, it's always like, what character are you creating? Like completely almost disassociate your person from them. You know, like even though I am a consultant, I disassociate because that's work mode that I need to get into. I don't need to be hopping in or can't hop in work mode whenever I'm talking to my friends.
Mm.
What about like
Uh,
celebrities and
You know what
like
that makes me
athletes?
think of? That makes me think of that concept that we talked about, just putting on the hat.
putting on a hat, yeah,
Put
like,
on
and
the
that's
hat.
that's what like social media. You're already doing
Only
it on
when you
social
got the
media.
hat on is when you're in that mode.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, man, that's
yeah. What do you mean,
I wouldn't
Kenny,
recommend.
about celebrities?
Like so you're trying to work with like an up and coming artist, right? Well,
Yeah,
do you think that like other musicians or artists can separate themselves as well? Like
one
the
hundred
whole
percent,
the whole world knows them as,
100%.
I mean, I think so as well, because like you have a public persona, you have a public image that you can put on, and then you
So
have the
so
person
here's
that
the
the
thing
camera
is
doesn't
like,
see.
right, so here's the thing, it's not even that there's a there's a person that the camera doesn't see or a person that you put on. It's what people perceive of you.
Yeah.
Like
Mm,
even if I'm trying to build a persona of myself, it's not what I put out there that people gather, it's what they perceive of me.
mm.
You know, I'm just you show highlights of your life on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever. So people perceive that highlight, and they're either going to think, oh, it's fake. I know it's only highlights, oh wow, he's able to do these really cool things or whatever. So like I think that all celebrities, like some of them have to, like they try to live out, their social media face, but like we know most rappers, they're renting their chains or leasing their chains and the cars, and like it's literally their brand. Like they're buying into their brand persona, not who they are as a person.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the topic we could talk about forever too, because it's like, I think with the advent of social media and the advent of like seeing all these, everyone wants to show off their best self
Yeah.
all the time. And then people see other people's best self and then they're like, that's what I want. But then it's putting on a face rather than putting on a hat. You're faking it.
Yep. Yeah, because you aren't that person.
Yeah.
I think about I think we might have talked about this, Los, or maybe it was somebody else, but like Charlemagne the God. Y'all know who that is, both of y'all? Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully most of the listeners know, but Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God. I just found out the dude name was Leonard, Like if we just look at Charlemagne and we find out dude's name is Leonard, we're automatically gonna be like, whoa, what the heck? Like who are you? Why? When he's the same person? It's just his birthright name we never heard about.
Why you saying it like that, man? Like you trying to say it different than you say your name.
No, it is different. I'm pretty sure it's Leonard.
I think it's Leonard, man. He said this brother can't have the same name as me.
Hey, it's close enough. Hey, yeah. I can't get out of it. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that interview, I was like, maybe I should change my name to something cool.
You can have a persona.
I was like, how creative can I get?
That on.
What kind of guy can I make myself? Yo, thank you for tuning into the P.E.A.C.E podcast. This podcast actually started off with 4 friends sitting around a table once a week. We were having conversations to educate ourselves about the world around us.
Look, no peace when they see them follow through. Cutthroat, but they never want to hoop. Used to want to be an all-star back in 9th grade. Got a D grade, shot was a fluke. Never understood all the passion till I did music, then I got reactions. I'm rapping about life, you're rapping for the caption. Man, what a satisfaction. I'm good if I never mainstream my life. All good if I never reach these heights. I'm good if you don't record my life. I'm good cause I love my life. Look, a lot of dudes flexing, yet desperate, still texting exes, investing, listening. I'm stressing some lessons, detach your essence, pressing. I'ma be who I gotta be. I ain't living in your fantasy, and I'll be real if it's the death of me.
Okay, and join in the conversation.
I'ma be who I gotta be, and I don't care who you pretend to be, cause I'll be real if it's the death of me.
I get it, I do the exact same thing.
Liars are liars, they burning in fire, stripping desire, you'll never get higher. Loyal on the night shift, missing time with his kid Jim, carrying live pants on fire. Yeah, truth is what they say. I checked the other day, check don't drop the day, kick right to your face, better plead your case. No more grace, boy, you been a flake. Reframing all this pride, reaching for your prize, homie, no surprise. Look who's taking sides, shot who's on the ride, engines looking fried, waking up, that's reverse drive. Waking up with new lines, accidents with new lines. Shift your gears, it's game time. Smashing rhymes, it's crunch time. Liars lay on lifelines.